Hey guys, so now we're gonna look into how to teach a game. If you're like me, you love to do games and you love to play games and do them with the kids. It's a great way to connect with kids, but there's some rules that we need to think through, some things that we need to do in leading games first. So to start off, there's some rules for campers. All campers should play the first round of your game. Some of them will be like, I don't like this isn't fun. Encourage them, say, play the first round, and if you still aren't feeling it, then you can sit out for the next ones and watch, or sit on and watch. So if there's any camper though that is hurt or injured in any way, they should just be sitting with the camp mom during this time. And they don't have to play other rounds. There are some games that we encourage you guys not to do. Actually, rather than encourage, we say don't do these games, okay? And those games are games that involve death, like Werewolf and Froggy Murder. There are different games that we've played at Telford Camp. I know that we've said, hey, let's not do these anymore. So those are not games that should be your go-tos. Find out other ways or creative ways to make it not involve death with that game. For counselors, for you guys leading the game, here's some things that you're gonna wanna do, okay? You will need to have at least 2 game leaders. One of your leaders will have to stand outside of the game and be more of a rules enforcer, running the game, referee. That person is kind of overseeing the whole thing that's going on, the game that's going on. Another leader can be on the sidelines for if there's bathroom runs that need to happen, if kids have scraped knees and you need someone to just jump in so that other leader can be still running and overseeing the whole game. This leader is more of an assistant to step in and help them out with whatever they need. If a cone needs to be set up and is knocked down, they'll run and do it so that the other leader doesn't have to. Be ready to help them with whatever they need. Make sure that all your supplies are set up before the kids arrive. I've done it. I've had it where kids have come up and have been like, oh no, my game's not ready yet. But it's not a place where you want to be every single time you're running the game. Set up your supplies before, okay? Discuss with fellow game leaders, your other game leaders that are there, who is in charge of what? Whose role is the assistant, whose role is overseeing the game. You guys can share those responsibilities too. Lastly here, instead of speaking to students as they come out, or campers as they come out as a blob, a big group, and saying, okay guys, hey, look, let's listen here. It's very helpful to put them into a line. And so you could have cones set up and say, okay, everybody line up behind this cone and then turn and face me. That's a really helpful thing to do. Or you could say, everybody line up behind Mr. Tyler or another counselor, and they line up behind them and say, all right, turn and face me. And then you can explain the rules of the game then to them as a line rather than in one big group, one big blob where some kids may not be paying as good of attention. Moving on, for explaining the rules and leading this game, you're gonna want to, like you said, put them in a line and explain the rules, but do it in clear steps. I like to remember it this way. This is what I do actually for when friends come over my house and we play a board game. I like to first tell them the goal of the game. What's the goal of this game? It's to conquer everybody else's areas, okay? And how do you do that? You do it by moving your pieces. You do it by putting these pieces in this order, right? So you say the goal of the game, get to the other side of the river, water, anything like that. And you explain then how do you do that? How do you do that goal? You have to avoid the shark who's trying to tag people as they're trying to get to the other side of the ocean. There's the word. I couldn't remember it before. Also, you don't want to just explain the game and say, okay, everybody got it, good, let's go. It's very helpful for kids that are visual learners to see you demonstrate it with counselors. Or even if you don't have much help, if you don't have a lot of counselors, grab some of the kids that are being more responsible and listening very well while you're explaining. Say, hey, can you help me real quick? And you say, hey, can you do this real quick for me? And you explain and you act out. All right, so if they're the shark and I'm running past them and they tag me, oh, that means I have to become seaweed. So I'll sit down and you act out that whole how do you do the game. Ask kids if they have any questions. Give them a time. Anybody have any questions? Anything that is you don't understand? That's really good, just to make sure that you've explained everything correctly and you haven't missed anything. Also, this is something that seems simple and like, oh, does this matter? But it really does. It really does. If you're splitting kids into 2 teams for your game, it's very helpful to first explain the rules and then split the kids into 2 teams. Don't do it before. If they come up and you split them into 2 teams, they're already trying to figure out, oh, I want to get to this team with this friend and that's their focus, and it's not on you explaining the rules. So our last slide here talks about counselors playing the game with the kids, okay? We're here for them, to serve them and to love them and give them a good time. Most of all, we're here to share the gospel, right? But when you're here with games, you want to be engaged with the campers, with the students, right? And so every counselor shouldn't be hanging out as a group and sitting on the side being like, I'm going to take a break and sit in the shade because I'm hot. Try and engage, jump in the game with them. If there's someone that needs to sit out, yeah, that's appropriate to sit out with them. But if there's nothing for you to do, play the game with your campers. Enjoy it with them. Encourage them. That's your goal. That's your job. Be focused on the kids. Interact with them. And also, if you see that kids are cheating or just being mean-spirited, any counselor who is there should be able to step in and say, hey guys, let's not do that. Hey, that wasn't the rule of the game. You should really redo that. Those are things that you should be focused on and not leave that for the game leader. They're the ones that have to handle this or take care of all those things. So those are games. That's what we're doing for games. And so I'm excited for you guys to lead these with us this summer.